saddle is one of the most important and personal choices you can make when selecting cycling components. There are a lot of quality saddles on the market. Even within bikepacking and gravel riding, the number of options are dizzying. Finding the right saddle for you can take some time, and for some, it can take a bit of trial and error. If you're like me, you have many types of bikes, each for a different purpose or riding environment, and therefore, each with a different type of saddle. Knowing the type of riding you'll be doing will help narrow down your options. In this video, we'll cover different saddle options. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be closer to finding your perfect saddle. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. If you're new here, my name is Joe, and I love bikes, adventures, and enjoying how freaking amazing life is. If you love any of that, hit the subscribe button. And if by the end of this video you found it helpful or entertaining, hit that like button. So what's the perfect saddle? Like a lot of topics I cover on this channel, the answer is not so simple. If you're looking for a video that tells exactly which saddle you should get, this video isn't for you. Instead, I'll give you an array of saddle types and options based on riding environment, your riding style, your body, and comfort. We'll cover seat material later in this video, but to start, let's establish two different styles of saddles. The first is curved. Some saddle companies call this version a wave saddle. I'll use the term curved in this video to refer to both. A curved saddle typically has an S shape from nose to tail, with the tail raised higher than the nose. The second style is a flat saddle, and these are, well, flat from nose to tail. You may have heard that a flat saddle is better for those with more flexibility. I'll say right now that this is simply not true. There are those that are extraordinarily flexible that prefer a curved saddle, and those that are less than flexible that prefer a flat saddle. Let's simplify this. A flat saddle is better if you need to move on and off and around the saddle, whereas a curved saddle gives you a locked-in feeling. The first step in choosing a saddle is asking yourself what type of bikepacking environments you'll be riding in and your riding style in that environment. Are you bikepacking on a weekend adventure where 100% of your ride will be off-road? Man, that sounds like heaven to me right now. Or are you commuting with half of your ride on pavement? Or are you somewhere in the middle, like racing the Tour Divide, where you'll find many different types of riding environments, from single track to paved roads? No matter what bike you ride, even road bikes, traction and balance are important. Traction is the grip of your tire on the riding surface. This is especially important on the rear tire, where all the driving force takes place. While off-road on a bikepacking adventure, you may find yourself shifting your weight around to gain traction and balance, especially in uneven dirt, mud, or gravel. Here's where a flat saddle is ideal. This isn't always the case though. While climbing on a steep grade with loose surfaces, you may need to sit to keep your weight over the rear wheel to maintain traction. If your riding style in mixed surface riding is to move around a lot, then a flat saddle might be best. If you stay seated more, then a curved saddle might be for you. There is no right or wrong choice here. Like a lot of things in life and cycling, there are trade-offs that you want to balance. You need to decide what works best for you. The next factor when choosing a saddle is your body. You want to find a saddle that matches the width of your sit bones. Here's how to measure your sit bones quickly, easily, and cheaply. Find a piece of corrugated cardboard and peel the top off so that the ridges and grooves of the center are exposed. Using a low table, like a coffee table, place the cardboard on the end and sit down. To add pressure to the cardboard, tilt your heels up about 45 degrees. Keeping your back straight, rock slightly left and right. Once you stand up, you'll see two indentations where your sit bones pressed in. As you can see here, mine are about 12 centimeters. Many bikepacking bikes have a more relaxed riding position for endurance. So comparing your sit bone measurement with a specific saddle is really an effective way to find one that will work for you. However, your riding style will impact this. If you're the type of rider to stay low in the drops for extended periods of time, especially for control on rough terrain, the position of your sit bones may change. This is another example of trade-offs that you will need to balance. Finally, let's talk about saddle comfort. There are a lot of factors here that determine comfort, and this could be a video on its own. But let's break this down into 4 features: rail material, shell material, cush for your tush material, and finally, pressure relief channels. Like bike frame material we covered in episode 1 of this bikepacking series, rail material can come in steel, aluminum, carbon, and titanium. Since we covered these in the first episode, we'll be more succinct here. If you haven't seen episode 1 yet, click on the link above or in the description. While aluminum is lightweight, it's not ideal for damping road chatter. On longer rides, it may become uncomfortable. Steel, carbon, and titanium are great at damping vibrations. If weight is a concern of yours, aluminum, carbon, and titanium would be your best choices. I really enjoy long-distance bikepacking, so among these, aluminum would not be my choice. And catastrophic failure is always a concern with carbon, so I would opt for steel or titanium. With that said, I've never had a carbon saddle break on me, so it should still be a strong consideration for you. The first type of shell material is no shell. These are the saddles that are made of leather. There's a lot of polarizing things in the cycling world, and leather saddles are among them. There are those that won't ride on anything else, and there are those that cast them off completely. These saddles require you to break them in, and once you do, they form to your bum. During this time, which for me has typically been about 500 miles, it feels like you are riding on a 2x4. Once you get beyond those miles, a leather saddle may be one of the most comfortable you've ever ridden. It's not for everyone though. Another consideration is weather. If it's raining or you ride in a high moisture environment, you will need to cover your leather saddle. The very best examples are the Brooks B17 and the Cell Atomica. The next shell material is vulcanized rubber. This is exclusive to Brooks' Cambium line. There's just something cool about Brooks saddles, especially on a classically styled bike like the Soma Wolverine. But that leather is tough to care for in the wet. The Cambium line holds up in rainy environments, and they are comfortable the moment you start riding. So no 2x4 riding experiences here. Carbon shells are lightweight, stiff, and dampen vibrations, and they are the most common on many bikepacking saddles. A saddle with carbon rails and a carbon shell can be expensive. But if comfort on longer rides is important, this combo may be for you. There are a ton of examples here, but Kate has ridden on a Specialized S-Works Power Mimic for a while and found it very comfortable. More on this saddle later. Flexible nylon is another type of shell material that is lightweight and very flexible. The flex creates a lot of comfort and adds a suspension aspect that's great on gravel and other rough terrain. The company Fabric Saddles are known for their flexible nylon shells. Saddle height should also be a consideration. If a saddle has a lot of foam material to cush your tush, it will raise up the height. Curved saddles tend to have more cush than flat saddles. Saddles with a lot of cush also tend to rub. That can mean the difference of finishing a long distance ride or stopping often for relief. This is a personal choice here, but I opt for a saddle with the least amount of cush. Pressure relief channels are very useful. They reduce pressure in areas where you don't want it. Everyone's body is different, so this is where you need to really do some investigation or do some trial and error while using certain saddles. I've ridden on several different versions of Brooks saddles with and without a pressure relief channel, and it felt no different. I've also ridden on a WBT saddle with a low profile channel and one with a deeper channel and felt I needed the deeper one. Kate used a Cell Atomica saddle and found the channel pinch where it shouldn't. Not that you'd want a pressure relief channel to pinch anywhere. Kate also switched to the Specialized S-Works Power Mimic. The saddle is perfect for her because the channel is designed for women. Kate also doesn't move much while riding, and the Power Mimic locks you in. What saddles have you used? What's worked best for you?